Peppa Pig has been a global sensation, winning over fans for more than 20 years. With over 300 episodes watched by millions, did you know there are still secrets the show doesn't want you to uncover? Have you noticed that Edmund Elephant, Emily's younger brother, is surprisingly intelligent for his age? Well, there's a theory suggesting that he's not really a baby elephant, but an adult in disguise. Think about it. Edmund could be a spy, using his small size and childlike appearance to investigate secrets in Peppa's town. But how would this be possible? The theory claims he might have been a brilliant inventor who discovered the elixir of youth, or someone who transferred their mind into a child's body. It makes a lot of sense. He has advanced knowledge of science and uses sophisticated words like an adult, which is unusual for a child, not because they're incapable, but simply because they haven't had enough time to acquire so much knowledge. But what could Edmund be trying to uncover? Perhaps he's pretending to be a child because the elixir turned his body too young, and now he must act like a kid until he regains his normal appearance, possibly years later. Grandpa Rabbit, also an inventor, might know the truth. They were likely partners until Edmund used the invention for himself. Could this be why Grandpa Rabbit wanted to send Edmund into space, out of revenge? We'll dive deeper into this later. Stay tuned. This is just one of the wild theories we'll explore today, so grab your popcorn. It's time for another episode of Cinewave. Another theory that might send shivers down your spine involves Peppa's stuffed bear, Teddy. Some fans believe this toy is actually an evil being controlling Peppa's life. One episode supporting this idea is The Doll Hospital, where Peppa seems to hear Teddy's voice. She claims Teddy wants to roll in the mud, and when Peppa takes her to the hospital, she refuses to change Teddy's voice, insisting it's different. How strange. Is Peppa the only one who hears it? Not to mention, it seems like Teddy is always trying to escape. During their vacation in Italy, Peppa repeatedly forgets the toy, only to have it returned. Or, did it run away? The show's creators might be hiding something about George, Peppa's little brother. He's a young piglet who doesn't communicate like most people, which could be understandable since he's so young. But everyone notices that George fully understands what others say, yet he mostly responds with dinosaur. Rarely does he say other words, and even then it's brief. Ever wonder why? One interesting fact is that many individuals on the autism spectrum are fascinated by dinosaurs, possibly because they're rare and intriguing. The creators might avoid explicitly revealing this about George to keep Peppa's younger audience from being surprised or confused. This theory arises because it's uncommon for such a young piglet to focus so intensely on one subject, in his case, dinosaurs. If this theory were confirmed, it would be a thoughtful touch by the writers, showing how Peppa's family supports and loves George despite their differences. Peppa and her family might be lovable, but there's no denying they likely come with a not-so-pleasant smell. After all, they're pigs. One fact the show tries to hide is that Peppa's family doesn't take many baths. Sure, we've all seen Peppa jumping in muddy puddles, which is fine. Even human kids love mud sometimes. But bath scenes, they are rare. Now, we're not saying this is a bad thing. They're pigs after all. Playing in the mud is a natural behavior. It's expected that the pig family might not be huge fans of soap and water. They probably only bathe enough to avoid being kicked out of town. Now tell me, do you like jumping in the mud and getting dirty, or do you take proper showers and smell amazing? Comment with #clean so we know everyone in your house smells great. Remember when we talked about the possibility of Edmund being an adult trapped in a child's body? That might tie into what we're discussing now. There's a theory that Grandpa Rabbit is a super spy. Since his first appearance, fans have noticed that Grandpa Rabbit has access to incredibly advanced resources, such as rockets and flying boats. Everyone knows these kinds of gadgets belong to someone either very wealthy or involved in high-stakes, dangerous missions. Interestingly, Edmund is the only character who seems to fully understand Grandpa Rabbit's inventions. Could this be because he once had access to these devices as well? Perhaps they were enemies in the past, and during some secret mission or experiment gone wrong, Edmund ended up in a machine that turned him into a child, but with his genius intellect intact. I don't know about you, but this theory makes a lot of sense to me. Oh really? In several episodes of Peppa Pig, you can spot drawings on the walls. One particular episode, Stars, shows Peppa and George's artwork in their bedroom. In this scene, the siblings have drawn a fairy, an elephant, a giraffe, an airplane, and a cat. But if you look closely, you'll notice something strange. All the animals in the drawings are mammals walking on 4 legs instead of 2. In Peppa's world, the characters are mammals that behave like humans. They talk, walk on 2 legs, and wear clothes. But the drawings suggest there are animals of the same species that don't talk or act like people. If true, this means there are regular animals in Peppa's world that no one has ever shown you. That's undeniably bizarre. One of the weirdest aspects of Peppa Pig is that the characters eat cheese and pancakes. Why is this strange? Simple. Where does the milk come from? As we know, Peppa's world is populated by animals that behave like humans. In the pancakes episode, we see Mummy Pig using milk for cooking. In Stars, the family drinks milk, and in the cafe episode, Peppa adds a generous amount of cheese to her sandwich. But in real life, milk comes from cows, and in Peppa's world, Miss Cow is a character who acts like a person. Does this mean Miss Cow sells her own milk, and does everyone drink it? This is undeniably strange, and raises a lot of questions. Let me ask you a question. If you had to pick an animal for a pirate, what would it be? If you said parrot, you're spot on. Parrots are famously associated with pirates. In Peppa Pig, this connection is clear. Pirate Redbeard, who appears in a few episodes, has a red parrot. But if this is true, could it mean that Grandpa Pig wasn't just a sailor, but a pirate too? Grandpa Pig owns a parrot named Polly, which might be a clue about his secret past. After all, sailors don't usually have parrots, but pirates certainly do. Think about it with us. Grandpa Pig is a retired sailor who lives in a small town far from big civilizations. He adopts a type of bird that sailors who have done wrong often admire. But why? Could it be that he has always been fond of this kind of bird, or is it possible that he did something terrible in his past? If you want to uncover more hidden treasures, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Remember Captain Dog, Danny's dad? He's a retired sailor, but have you ever wondered why he stopped sailing? In the Danny's Room episode from Peppa Tales, he reveals he'll never return to the sea. In one scene, a massive sea monster appears before him, hinting that Captain Dog may have been traumatized by a terrifying encounter with such a creature. Captain Dog also mentions that he used to sail in search of sea monsters. This suggests he may have found one and barely escaped being devoured. This could be proof that monsters exist in Peppa's universe. And this also leads to a theory that Danny's dad, Grandpa Pig, and Grandpa Rabbit, who also ventured out to sea, probably know this secret and decided to keep it to themselves to avoid worrying anyone. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. There's an episode of Peppa Pig that references another hugely popular show, Bluey. The Easter egg is the Pass the Parcel game. In Bluey, Lucky's dad tries to restore the game to its original form, where only one child wins a big prize. In Peppa Pig, during Edmund's birthday party, the kids also play Pass the Parcel, but instead of having no reward in some layers, as Lucky's dad wanted, each layer contains a medal for every child. At the end of Peppa's game, there's still a grand prize, a stuffed panda bear. Maybe this version is better. Everyone gets a small reward, but one lucky winner takes the big prize. This was a clever nod to Bluey. One fascinating detail about Peppa's world is how its characters don't seem to need specific environments to live, unlike in real life. For instance, Penny Polar Bear should theoretically require a snowy habitat to survive, but she lives comfortably in Peppa's town. Similarly, Madame Gazelle, a gazelle, would usually need a warm climate, but she thrives in the same environment as everyone else. It's a unique aspect of Peppa's world that many fans don't notice. Here's a fun fact. Peppa's World has a real-life theme park. If you want to visit, you'd need to travel to Hampshire, England. There, you can explore Peppa's town and meet the characters. There's also another park in Florida, which even features a roller coaster where you can ride with Daddy Pig. Do you think they'd let you jump in the mud too? Remember, no one needs to travel to stay here with us, and we bet you hadn't noticed some of these details before. To learn even more, stick with us. We've got 2 more videos lined up for you. See you in the next one.